Good day. Week 2, Podcast Academy. I want to always remind you, progress versus perfection. You can always wait and wait and wait until it's perfect. It's never perfect. 70% is all Jeff Bezos wanted when he was trying to make big decisions. And then there's just that 30% of the unknown. You don't know. So those that sit and wait until everything's perfect, I got to know exactly my content development. I can't start until I have it all laid out. Avoid doing that. Just do it. There's a reason Nike has that just do it. You'll always learn. You'll always grow. You'll always get better. But what we want to do in this Podcast Academy is give you the basics, give you enough to launch and activate your career in podcasting. It's only going to get bigger. It's only going to get better. It's going to change. And we're going to be updating it on a regular basis so you can continue to be the best at podcasting. Because your ability to influence, your ability to create content in a digital world depends on you being good behind the camera. And I've had people that will say, it's just not for me. That's basically saying I'm fearful to put myself out there. And if you're always going to lean on fear, you'll never do anything. Lean into being uncomfortable. Get out there. So content development, let's talk about that. Finding your unique voice and style. When you start out, always start out with an end in mind. Where do you want to go with it? But here's what I want you to think about. It's always going to be evolving. So in our case, I always wanted to help entrepreneurs get to a different mindset of growth, because when you look at competition, when people are just barely getting by, there's a lot of competition in that category. But if you go above and you're doing 10x and you're scaling, you're thinking of systems, and your mindset is being the best, you'll separate yourself because not a lot of people think that way. So that's why we want to create a high performance podcasting with a purpose. So your style, if you can develop your style of being transparent, just let the viewer see who you are. Don't try to put on a show. Don't try and do what Joe Rogan's doing out there. Don't try to do what somebody you admire. Certainly get tips from them, but you've got to be yourself. You've got to be transparent. Your voice has to come from head to heart. When you get head matching with your heart or heart matching with your head, you got a winning combination. So be so curious and so, I don't want to say passionate, but maybe that you just can't wait to get that message out to people. And you look into the camera and you see that person that you want to influence. See that person you want to educate. You've got to see that person first. Then your words will come out accordingly. So your style, is it one of interviewing? That's one. Inviting guests and making them key strategic partners. That could be one. You could just want to enjoy it, just meeting people, building your network. That could be a possibility. But you always keep it simple, because the more complicated you make it, the more likely you're going to get stuck in the weeds. Leverage AI. Use it. Use it to do your heavy lifting, but nobody's going to replace you, your creative thinking, your leadership, your ability to adapt, to change. AI is going to be powerful. It's one of the 5 major trends we talk about. So if you're not leveraging it with your podcasting, you're missing a lot. You're missing a whole lot. If somebody Both of you start at the same time. One uses AI and one decides, I'm just going to do it by myself. Well, you'll be riding a tricycle if you're trying to do it by yourself without AI, and the person that leverages AI is going to be driving a Lamborghini. That's how quick. Because any topic that you want to dig into to help your audience with, you can get help with 80% of it. Always think of AI as 80%, and you're the 20%. 10 on the front end, 10 on the back end. So your style is who you are. What do you want to accomplish? For us, we have 3 avatars. Entrepreneurs that want to grow and scale their business by 10x, which means you have to have a different mindset than somebody just wants to inch by. Nonprofits that want to grow and scale their nonprofit for greater impact on their community. That's somebody that embraces learning, like Glenda Hicks, who teaches this through a game. So you're gamifying learning. That's absolutely incredible. You're going to see tens of thousands of games out there. When she gets more people to know who she is, who she's serving, how she can help them, and she'll do it through podcasting, because every single podcast you produce and make is a digital asset. So if you can think of putting little houses around the United States in digital space, that's what you're doing. So don't hesitate to put good content out there, but keep it simple. You don't need to buy all this equipment just to start out. It's kind of like when somebody wants to get in, I hear them say, I got to have this studio, I got to have this mic, I got to have this, I got to have this light. Just get started. You're always going to improve on your content development, but the more you think about making it complicated and you're thinking perfection, the more chances are you'll never start. Just get going. Now, define your podcast purpose and target audience. That's it's real important. What is your purpose? For us, it's monetizing your purpose, because if you can't figure out how to make money, and you're not going to make money when you just start out on people sponsoring it because they're sponsoring you for eyeballs, but you can certainly take affiliates that you believe in, like this StreamYard. StreamYard is how we deliver our content. So have an affiliate with StreamYard. They do, so we do. Have it with things you use and believe in. And that's the key. What the key word there is believe in. Because if you believe in it, it'll come through in your voice. If you try to fake, which a lot of people might try that, people can read that so easy. So when it comes to the end in mind, what do you want to do? What's your purpose? I had 2 ladies and they said they just want to have a good time. Okay, that's fine. They can meet people, they can put a digital asset out there, but why not have a purpose to monetize it? Because if you're not monetizing, you better have deep pockets. And when you don't have deep pockets and you just have to figure it out, you'll be much better. You'll be much better thinking, I got to monetize this. I got to think of ways that add so much value, people are willing to pay me for it. So that's your mindset will be, that is, how can I monetize it? Now, we're going to show you through this course, but when we're getting into defining your product, your podcast purpose and target market, you have to know who you're targeting. You have to see them through the lens. When I look at my audience, I look at who I am addressing. So if I'm doing our first avatar, I see that person. I see it in the most detailed possible way. I usually put a person, like Glenda Hicks is my person that I talk about and that I promote, that I want people to know about gamifying learning. Because if you're going to implement a strategy with your nonprofit, you better figure out how to develop the leadership. You better figure out how to bring them together. And there's nothing better than a game. So when I'm talking in that area, because I don't have a nonprofit, I participate in a lot of nonprofits. I give a lot of nonprofits. I love a lot of nonprofits, but I don't have a 501c yet. So I go through that transformation with Glenda. So that's why I will mention her, because she is a solution for nonprofits, and she's been doing it and impacting nonprofits for years. And now she's turning up the dial. So when it comes to the third one, like corporate professionals, I have a person, his name's Phil, corporate professional in an industry for most of his career. He knows it like the back of his hand. He's built relationships. He teaches the younger people how to be effective, how to connect, how to read the room. Walk into an office, don't start throwing up on the person. Read the room. What do they have hanging? What's important to them? And when you do that, and he only gets that way years and years and years and years of fine-tuning his skill. But if a person like that wants to become an entrepreneur and wants the freedom that comes with an entrepreneur, it's a tough transition, because when you got a paycheck coming in on Friday, regardless of whether you get up or not, it's kind of like college coaches. They sign these big contracts, and it seems like they go south whenever they sign these contracts, because they know it's coming in. Some of them may take the pedal off the gas. They don't even know it, because, hey, I'm going to get a $30 million buyout regardless if I win or not. Sure, they want to win, but the fine things, that's why you got to always be hungry. That's why you got to always be leaning in to being uncomfortable. If somebody asks you to do something like speak in front of a crowd, do it, because what you'll learn. First time you do it, awkward. But when you focus away from you and onto a person in the audience that you're speaking to, now you're giving. Now you're making an impact. So the words just flow out, and you're going to get better, better, and better the more you do it. But if you allow yourself to say no and be fearful, like, I've never done this, I don't want to do that, I don't think I have anything to share. Well, that's what you think. But others may want to hear your journey. How did you do it? Share your struggle. Share the tough parts. Don't always tell people everything's so easy. It's not. Entrepreneurship is hard. You're going to work your butt off. But if you're going to work hard, you might as well work at something that's trending up. So enjoy yourself while you're doing it. You'll know whether you like it or not. Let's say you're a corporate professional. You come home. It's 7:30 at night. You've had a tough day. And somebody says, "You ready to do a podcast?" And you go, "Oh, I'm too tired." Then you know your heart's not in it. Because if it is, it's not, you'll do it because you love it. And if you're doing something along with what you're doing, like a corporate professional, if I was a corporate professional today, I'd be having something I really enjoy. And there isn't anything better than podcasts, because you're creating digital assets. There's an entrepreneurial revolution. When you learn how to create these assets, they never go away. AI, there's a revolution there. There's a crypto revolution, and there's a mobile revolution. So all these things, people are watching you on their iPhone or Droid. So all these trends, if you're out there creating versus consuming, The average person watches 4 hours of TV a day and up to 2 hours of social media scrolling. So you look at 6 hours. If you're up for 18 and sleeping for 8, 6 hours out of 18. That's 33% of your time consuming stuff. News. You don't have any control over news. How does news get your attention? Negative. So you want to be feeding yourself negative news because you can't do anything about it. And if it's that important, you'll hear about it. So instead of consuming 6 hours a day, I don't have social media. I don't watch TV. Occasionally, very rare, because I'm creating. I'm flipping the script and creating content. When you create, it's exciting. When you consume, it's, it's, you got to just get in touch with who you are. We're creators. We're in the creator economy. We're in the entrepreneur economy. You have to flip that script from consuming to creating. So when you look at crafting a compelling podcast title and description, put it out there for AI to do. Give me a title with this kind of content and a description based on these points I'm making. Bingo, got it. Put it out there. Titles are important. Thumbnails are important. And your description can be your show notes, links to whatever you're talking about. So that way you can have a strategy with your development. So be bold, make an impact. My grandkids are here. Be bold, make an impact, and have fun. Be bold, make an impact, have